Hey everybody, happy 4th of July. It's still the 4th of July, and firecrackers going on outside. Got my dogs really bothered, so they're here with me now. Here, let me get to the point. This is a quick video about Trump and his remarks regarding the judge in his Trump University case. Just because Donald Trump said that the judge was Mexican doesn't mean that Donald Trump is racist. Donald Trump is not racist, and that's why he says things like Mexicans, because it's not a derogatory word to him. But I want to read for you, and I'm going to show you what I'm reading from. This is California Civil Practice Statutes and Rules. Right there. Shine a little light on that so you can see. That's what that is. Alright? So, and I'm going to show you, I'll show you a screenshot. Okay folks, this is the book I'm relying on. 2009 desktop edition, California Civil Practice Statutes and Rules. This is what I was reading from. We got the fireworks going off, 4th of July, happy 4th of July. And my dog is going crazy from the fireworks. Here we go, Code of Civil Procedure. And then we're going to go to 170. There we go. Alright folks, we're getting there. I got a dog going nuts. Alright, here we go. 170, disqualification of judges. There you go. Grounds for disqualification. Duty to decide. Okay. There we go. 170, Code of Civil Procedure. Grounds for disqualification. Judge shall be disqualified if any one or more of the following is true. And then you can see where I'm at here. And then I was reading from here. For any reason, and you can read that. You can hit pause now. So folks, you can see where I'm coming from. Okay, this is what I'm relying on. California Civil Practice. It's a real book, folks. This is the law. And I'm having a hard time with my dogs going nuts from these firecrackers. But you know what? Happy 4th of July. It's once a year. And this is the 240th 4th of July. And it's probably the 233rd that we celebrated since winning the Revolutionary War. Okay, folks, that's it. 170.1 subsection 6A says, a judge shall be disqualified if any one or more of the following is true. And then 6A is, for any reason the judge believes his or her recusal would further the interests of justice. That's subsection 1. 6A1. 6A2 says the judge believes there is a substantial doubt as to his or her capacity to be impartial. 6A3 is a person aware of the facts might reasonably entertain a doubt that the judge would be able to be impartial. Now that's what we call an objective test. So if for any reason, a person aware of the facts might reasonably entertain a doubt that the judge would be able to be impartial. So even if the judge is impartial, if there's an appearance by a person aware of the facts being that the judge is a member of La Raza. Now I'm going to show you a screenshot in this video of it's La Raza for Lawyers Society of San Diego. They themselves claim to be affiliated with La Raza, the main La Raza. But the Washington Post or the Wikipedia article is claiming that they're not affiliated. However, they claim to be affiliated. So in other words, the judge's legal society, La Raza, claims to be affiliated, according to their website, with the main La Raza. But the Wikipedia article claims they're not. Well, who are you going to believe? Okay, folks, here's the Wikipedia page for Gonzalo Curiel. He is the judge presiding over the Trump University case in California, the Federal District of California. Now here we've got the lower down on that page, it says that the group that he belongs to is not affiliated with the National Council of La Raza, an unrelated advocacy group. But then here we've got the San Diego La Raza Lawyers Association, which he is a member of. So you can see the web address up at the top. And we're going to the next slide. We're going to see another page, same web address, and it shows the community, and you can see that it's got the National Council of La Raza there, so that his association is related to La Raza, National Council of La Raza. Now we've got La Raza Lawyers of California, another La Raza associated organization. And then you will see on their links page, you've got the San Diego La Raza Lawyers. So you've got San Diego, and then you've got California, you've got National, and they're all linking to each other. So now we're going to see the next page. It states that the purpose is to, the Article 3 is to promote the interests of the Latino community throughout the state. So next is La Raza of California, and you can see it also is related. It links to National Council of La Raza. Now we're going to go to the National Council of La Raza, and there's an appropriate photo because this is being recorded on July 4th and uploaded on July 4th, and proud Mexican Americans there waving the flag, which was great. And then National Council of La Raza talks about their immigration policies, and they talk about undocumented workers, which are also known as illegal aliens, and they support Obama's. So it doesn't matter that the judge was born in America. Seemingly, every judge is a legal citizen. More likely than not, they were born here. But nevertheless, all these grounds for disqualification apply to all the judges born here in America. And nowhere does it say, unless you're born in America. That's a given. So Donald Trump is right. He doesn't, for him to say, throw around the word Mexican, means he looks at it like the way Hillary Clinton throws around the word Russian or whatever. She regards Mexicans as inferiors. So she assumes that Donald Trump, when he says Mexicans, is regarding them as inferiors when he's just regarding them as people who are from Mexico. So we have to be really careful that we don't let the media manipulate us into believing Donald Trump is a racist when he's not. In LA, I've lived in Orange County, which is south of LA, as you know. I've spent a lot of time in San Diego. I've spent a lot of my life in Chicago and also in Philadelphia. So I like Mexican people a lot. I'm glad that there are Mexicans in America. You know, let's remember what Jesus said. He warned us, and with regards to other people, and it doesn't matter whether they're white, whether they're off-white, black, mulatto. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Do to others what you would have them do to you. Love your neighbor as yourself. And let's not forget the parable of the Good Samaritan was in the context of a question. Jesus told that parable in answer to a question, and the question was when Jesus was asked, well, who is my neighbor? Jesus told a story of basically a Jew laying in the middle of the street, injured, and a bunch of religious Jews walked across the road and left him for dead. And it was a Samaritan who was an outcast, who came and took care of him, brought him to an inn, went into his own pocket, gave the man 2 pieces of silver and said, I'll come back for him and pay you anything else I owe you. I'll come back in 2 days for this injured person. And then Jesus said, go and do likewise. So, who was your neighbor? That's a good question. In the case of the injured Jew, it wasn't the religious Jew who left him for dead. It was the Good Samaritan. And for the Good Samaritan, it was the Jew injured in the middle of the road. So that's how we're supposed to treat people. So when it says love your neighbor as yourself, obviously it's not talking about people of your own race, kind, or kindred. It's talking about other human beings. So that's really it. That's all we have to worry about, is not falling for this politics of hate. And Donald Trump isn't the one who's initiating hate. He's talking about protecting the southern border, and if you're here legally, you know, what do you have to worry about? And if you know somebody who's here illegally, let me just start by saying that as you're Mexican, I'm Irish. When I go to Ireland, I know that Irish people, see, they can't come here illegally. I mean, they could come on a tourist visa and then stay. Now they're illegal. And I'm sure they do that. But they're still accounted for. In other words, they came into the country. We know they're in the country. We know what flight they came in. We know their name. We can verify their identity, and we can follow up on that. Well, if they were to just sneak in without coming through any port of entry, an airport, customs, we don't know who they are. We don't know anything about them. We don't even know that they're here. So, and that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that when I go to Ireland, I'm an American. I mean, they don't have jobs waiting for me over there. And I don't want them to come in here taking our jobs anymore. I just don't. You know, Donald Trump, you know, he made a good point. I don't want Irish people coming here working illegally. I'd rather see even any American, I don't care whether they're Irish or not, I'd rather see them get the job. Because I realize it's unfair for all the jobs. And that's what Donald Trump is fighting for all the jobs. I want you to look at a video called Heist, a movie called Heist. It's all about how, starting with Reagan, the corporations have basically lobbied Washington, D.C. to the point where uh, there are no labor unions left for all intents and purposes. Our wages have not increased. We've gone into debt just to maintain our means of living, our standard of living. And meanwhile, a Glass-Steagall was Glass-Steagall Act, which regulated the banks, which said that they couldn't use the money that you deposit and speculate with it. That was rescinded, and that's what happened. That's how we had the subprime lending crisis, subprime meltdown in 2008. And Bill Clinton signed that into law in '99, just in time for George Bush and all the banks to have a frenzy, a feeding frenzy, a heyday of the early 2000s. The military-industrial complex had a heyday, trillions of dollars spent on weapons to go fight wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. So don't let them convince you that Donald Trump is against Mexicans, or that he's racist, or that he's against non-whites, because he's not. And I'm not. And when I got back from Ireland, I was happy to, you know, be back to Chicago, sweet home Chicago, and, you know, home of the blues, Chicago, the blues, and, you know, the Mexicans, my favorite food. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean, you know, Mexico has a great culture. Unfortunately, life there is almost inhabitable in certain areas for many people. So hey, we've got to seal the border, regulate people's entry from Mexico into the United States, but we don't need to deport people who are here, Mexicans who are here, but we do need to deport terrorists who are here, and they're most likely not Mexicans. So that's all I wanted to say. Again, it's Section 170.1, grounds for disqualification, Code of Civil Procedure of California, where the case is pending. And one of the things that Donald Trump didn't, he never said that because this man was Mexican, he could not be impartial. He said based on all of the terrible rulings. He was highlighting all of the terrible rulings he's been getting in that case. And then he said, like, it's always the things that he just says, like maybe an answer to a question, a random question or something. He just says, you know, where it's just a tangential point he makes. It's not even his main point. His main point was that the judge is biased and he's been giving him bad rulings. He said it may be because he's Mexican, in light of the fact that Donald Trump is stating things that are making a lot of Mexicans angry. For instance, Vicente Fox, before Donald Trump ever said anything about the judge in his case being Mexican, Vicente Fox was on the news using the F word about Donald Trump. So that's pretty much it, guys. So just keep that in mind. The judge, by virtue of his rulings, by virtue of his membership in La Raza, those facts would make a person reasonably entertain a doubt that the judge would be able to be impartial. So whether he's impartial or not, just the appearance of impropriety or bias makes him disqualified, and he should disqualify himself. So, you know, and he's an Obama appointee, but see, it doesn't matter that he's an Obama appointee. That's fine. You can be an Obama appointee, you can be a Clinton appointee, you can be Mexican, you can be whatever. But if you're a member of La Raza and you're the judge in Donald Trump's case, as opposed to someone else's case, somebody who hasn't taken a public stand against illegal immigration from Mexico, whereas La Raza is a proponent of illegal immigration from Mexico, any immigration from Mexico. In that instance, he would be, it would appear that he cannot be biased, that he cannot be impartial. So for that reason, he should be disqualified. So that's pretty much it. I mean, and that's the law. So there you have it. You know, let's keep everything in mind. Let's not let them manipulate us into hating each other, into fighting each other, into voting Hillary Clinton into office, who is a racist. She's just evil. I mean, that woman, I mean, according to Larry Nichols, Bill told Larry Nichols that she worships at a satanic church. So
I've never been to the Bohemian Club, but you ought to go. It'd be good for you. Get some fresh air.
I know nothing about the Bohemian Grove with Bill. I know about once a month Hillary would go out to Los Angeles. And she did it so regular that it became a bit of an issue trying to, why is she always going? Bill told me that she was going out there, she and a group of women, and she would be a part of a witch's church. And man, when Bill told me that, you could have hit me with a baseball bat. I tried to point out to him. He realized what had happened if that got out. Of course, my job is to make sure it didn't get out. Now, I don't know today if Hillary still partakes in the witch ritual. I don't know that I even know what the ritual was. But for the better part of many years, Hillary would go quite often, whether it was regularly once a month or maybe once every couple of months. She would go out on a weekend simply to be a part of it.
The great story here, for anybody willing to find it and write about it and explain it, is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
You know, it's so sad that when something tragic happens that people...
It's funny, they keep saying, oh, we don't want Donald Trump to have the nuclear codes. Obama has the nuclear codes. Why is she preoccupied with the nuclear codes? That woman, if she's worshiping in a church of Satan, that means she has an evil spirit. I mean, that means she's possessed. She's demonized. She definitely has demons. She's been called a monster by Obama's staff in the 2008 election. The primary. So there's no question that she's projecting onto Donald Trump the fear that we should have of her. If she, God forbid, ever had the nuclear codes, they already want to start a war with Russia, and they criticize Donald Trump for being for having good words about Putin. I want Putin to get along with Donald Trump, and I want Donald Trump to get along with Putin. Who would ever flirt with a war with nuclear Russia? But nevertheless, they're doing that in the Ukraine, which is absurd. So, all right, to all my Mexican Americans out there, happy 4th of July, and God bless America.
Hillary Clinton was giving a speech. She had some very tough things to say about you. One of the things she said...
She wasn't giving, she was reading a speech that was written by other people, okay? But go ahead.
Okay.
Sound bites.
One of the things she said was, this is not someone who should have the nuclear codes. It's not hard to imagine Donald Trump leading us into war because someone got under his very thin skin. What's your response to that?
Well, first of all, I don't have thin skin. I have very strong, very thick skin. And when somebody's right about me, I always, if you do a report and it's not necessarily positive, but you're right, I never complain. I do complain when it's a lie or when it's wrong. But I have a strong temperament, and it's a very good temperament, and it's a very in-control temperament, or I wouldn't have built this unbelievable company. I wouldn't have built all of the things that I've been able to do in life. I've been #1 bestsellers, one of the best-selling books of all time, tremendous television success.
I don't think anyone...
I've been successful. Well, wait a minute, Jake. I've been successful in every business I've been in, if you think. Real estate, one of the most successful. Television, The Apprentice, which is, forget it. I mean, NBC came to me, they wanted to renew so badly, you have no idea.
Well, what does that have to do with temperament? You're very successful, there's no question.
You can't have that success without good temperament. And I will say this, I was thinking about the word temperament, and we need a strong temperament in this country. We have been led by weak people, weak, ineffective people. Countries have taken advantage of us, whether it's militarily or otherwise. We have been taken advantage of by everybody. We have people with weak temperaments. I have a very strong temperament, but I have a temperament that's totally under control. And she mentions that I'll bring us into war. She's the one that wanted to go into Iraq. I mean, she raised her hand. She didn't know what the hell she was doing. She raised her hand. I said, I don't want to go into Iraq. Iraq is going to destabilize the Middle East. And I was 100% right.
I want to ask you about comments you made about the judge in the Trump University case. You said that you thought it was a conflict of interest that he was the judge because he's of Mexican heritage, even though he's from Indiana.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton said that that is a racist attack on a federal judge.
Oh, I know. She's so wonderful. I mean, here's a woman that should be put in jail for what she did with her emails, and she's commenting on this. Let me just tell you. It's very simple. I have a case where thousands of people have taken this course, and thousands of people have said great reviews, great reviews. Fortunately, just about everybody that took the courses have signed a review, an evaluation, they call it. And it's gotten tremendous marks. Thousands. I don't mean like 2 people. I mean thousands of people.
Right.
Okay. I have a situation where the woman that brought the case. She was the plaintiff. She was deposed. She was found to be a disaster for them as a witness because she gave an evaluation that was like the best evaluation you've ever heard. Wait just 1 second.
Okay.
And she did a tape, like from your camera, saying that this school was fantastic. It was fantastic. They went to the judge and they said, Your Honor, we don't want her anymore to be our plaintiff. So we said, let's dismiss the case. That's okay. Let's dismiss the case. And he said, no, I won't dismiss the case, and she doesn't have to be the plaintiff.
Let me tell you.
I'll tell you what it has to do. I have had ruling after ruling after ruling that's been bad rulings, okay? I've been treated very unfairly. Before him, we had another judge. If that judge was still there, this case would have been over 2 years ago. Let me just tell you, I have had horrible rulings. I've been treated very unfairly by this judge. Now, this judge is of Mexican heritage. I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall. I am going to do very well with the Hispanics, the Mexicans.
So
everybody.
no Mexican judge could ever be involved in a case that involves you?
He's a member of a society where, very pro-Mexico, and that's fine. It's all fine. But
Except that you're calling into question his heritage.
I think he should recuse himself.
Because he's
then
Latino.
You also say, does he know the lawyer on the other side? I mean, does he know the lawyer? A lot of people say
But I'm
yes.
not talking about that. I'm talking about
that's another problem.
But you're invoking his race when talking about whether or not he can do his job.
Jake, I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall. I'm trying to keep business out of Mexico. Mexico's fine. There's nothing...
But he's American. He's an American.
He's of Mexican heritage, and he's very proud of it, as I am where I come from.
But he's
my
an
parents.
American. You keep talking about
Jake.
It's a conflict of interest because of Mexico.
Are you ready? I have a case that should have been dismissed already. I have thousands of people saying Trump University is fantastic, okay? I have a case that should have been dismissed. I have a judge that never, ever gives a... Now we lose the plaintiff. He lets the plaintiff of the case out. So why isn't he canceling the case? So we thought we won the case.
So you didisagree with his rulings. I totally understand that.
Not
but
me.
you're...
I've had lawyers come up to me say, you are being treated so unfairly. It's unbelievable. You know the plaintiffs in the case have all said wonderful things about the school, and they're suing. You know why they're suing? Because they want to get their money back.
I don't really want to litigate the case
You have to.
of Trump University.
Because if he was giving me fair rulings, I wouldn't say that.
My question is...
Jake, if he were giving me fair rulings, I wouldn't be talking to you this way. He's giving me horrible rulings.
I don't care if you criticize him. That's fine. You can criticize every decision. What I'm saying is, if you invoke his race as a reason why he can't do his job...
I think that's why he's doing it.
But
I think that's why he's doing it.
When Hillary Clinton says it's a racist
Hillary
attack.
Clinton is a stiff. If Hillary Clinton
Paul
becomes
Ryan
president,
today, Paul Ryan today said he didn't care for the way that you were attacking this judge.
Look, I'm just telling you, Paul Ryan doesn't know the case. Here's the story.
Isn't it the
I
definition?
should have won this case on summary judgment. This is not a case. This is a case I should have won on summary judgment. Do you know the law firm paid Hillary Clinton hundreds of thousands of dollars to make speeches? Do you know the law firm?
I do. We've
Oh, you
reported.
do?
We've reported it on my show.
Okay,
in
good.
fact.
Well, I'm glad you're the only one. The
But all I
law
want is-
firm. Wait a minute. The law firm paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to Hillary Clinton for speeches.
Before either of you
she
were
wasn't worth it.
running for
Everybody fell
president.
asleep during a speech.
Before
okay?
either of you were running for president, they did. But here's just the fundamental
Do
question.
you know that they've contributed tremendous amounts of money to her campaign?
Yes.
Do you know they've contributed a lot of money to Eric Schneiderman, the New York Attorney General?
Here's my question.
No. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Do you know that these people went to every Attorney General practically in the country that they could? And do you know this case was turned down by almost every Attorney General from Texas to Florida to many of these states?
Is it not, when Hillary Clinton says this is a racist attack, and you reject that, if you are saying he can't do his job because of his race, is that not the definition of racism?
No, I don't think so at all.
No?
No, he's proud of his heritage. I respect him for
But
that.
you're saying he can't do his job because of it.
Look, he's proud of his heritage, okay? I'm building a wall. Now, I think I'm going to do very well
He's a
with
legal
Hispanics. You
citizen.
know why I'm going to do well with Hispanics? Because I'm going to bring back jobs, and they're going to get jobs right now. They're going to get jobs. I think I'm going to do very well with Hispanics, but we're building a wall. He's a Mexican. We're building a wall between here and Mexico. The answer is he is giving us very unfair rulings, rulings that people can't even believe. This case should have ended years ago on summary judgment. The best lawyers, I have spoken to so many lawyers, they said, this is not a case. This is a case that should have ended. This judge is giving us unfair rulings. Now I say why. Well, I'm building a wall, okay? And it's a wall between Mexico, not another country.
But he's not from Mexico.
In my opinion,
He's from Indiana.
He is his Mexican heritage, and he's very proud of it.